Hey everybody, soybean farmer. Well, it's getting close to time to plant. Okay, about 2 weeks away. But anyhow, that's a real planter. You know, you've watched my channel for years and you've heard me call a grain drill a planter. And then correct myself and say, no, it's a grain drill. Last year, cousin Scott pulled this John Deere planter out of somebody's discarded pile. And he worked on it and he fixed it. And he planted the Allen field with this thing. And it was beautiful. Most uniform row population I've ever seen on this farm. Of course, you've heard a grain drill called a device that does nothing more than a somewhat controlled spill. Row population, what I'd always done was jack it up high, and rows were sometimes overpopulated, sometimes underpopulated, depending on how the spill went. But I walked that field last year, that Allen field that was planted with this planter, and it was gorgeous. I had never seen on this farm since I've been farming it and planting soybeans with that grain drill, that kind of row population and that kind of uniform population. Of course, a lot of it was good germination. So anyhow, I asked cousin Scott if I could use this planter. He said yeah. And what we're up to, because you can see here he comes, white truck coming over there, is we're going to try to figure out how to set up row spacing. I'd always been planting on 15-inch rows with the grain drill. This right now is set up on 18, and we're going to see what we can figure out. So let's see how this comes out.
Seems like you get it all figured up in your mind. You got it all right in your head. You got it all well planned. You start working on it, and all of a sudden, well, this ain't right. And then you got to move this to make that right, and then you make that right to make that right, and then the next thing you know, you're going from A to Z, and you still ain't got nowhere.
It's kind of like one of those, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like Mary.
It's kind of like when I tried to drive this over here and got hung up in the trees with these row markers. And
gotta edit them on.
Hey, what? I see all these little 71s here on this.
That's all what it is.
Okay, so this is a John Deere
71 Flexi-planter.
71 Flexi-planter. Right. That's what we will call this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I know what to call it. All I was saying was a John Deere planter.
Yeah, well, it is. It's before the. I think these are the individual units before the 7000s came out, because the 7000s or something like that I think came out after the 494s or the 1240s or somebody like that. I don't know the history all that well. I can't remember 490. I think 494 was first and then 1240, but somebody in there will know because we got some guys that know it.
Well, they'll tell us the story. Well, what I had told everybody before you got here was you drug this out of somebody's junk pile, brought it home last year and fixed it, and I was so impressed with what it did in the Allen field, I wanted to use it. And you said, sure. And I appreciate your help getting it set up.
Yeah, you know, old stuff, believe it or not, can be revived.
Well, you did a fine job on this. Allen field had beautiful row population and uniform.
You know, I never got upset with these, did I? Like I did the company.
No, you just kind of worked along on this and just kept working along steady on it. And
all right, there's one that's broke. Yeah, no, maybe it ain't. Okay, never mind. It ain't you. It's just me. I'm visualizing. No, everybody's that way. I'm talking to me, and you're talking to them, and if I don't communicate verbally with myself, I don't remember what I said. Because my mind, it's like there's a disconnect somewhere up there. Anyway, we need to check our chains, and we need to figure out where we're going to put. Where we're going to put where?
Well, one thing.
Hello. How'd that happen? I wonder how many acres we planted before that done. I don't remember no skipping beans, do you?
They were beautiful. They all look gorgeous over there.
I know, it's just weird, ain't it? Look at it. I mean, look. See, I told you what you just said a while ago, whatever that word was that you said.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
That looks pure broke.
It does. Weird. Anyway, it's all right.
What's interesting, it'd be the first cover you popped off just to see how things were in there and find something broke.
Well, I'd rather find the first cover and the rest in good shape. Ooh, baby.
All right, you said something about getting this thing up off the ground.
We don't got to do it right now. What we got to do is get in our minds how we want to set up behind that tire.
Okay.
That's what we got to do. Once we get it kind of set up in our minds of how we want behind the tire, then we're going to take your $5 tools and bzz, 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 and then we're gonna tick over, and we're gonna have it up in the air then. And
All right.
our thoughts was going in 2 inches, because these are 18. And our thoughts was to make it work behind that tractor is to go 2 inches in from the center, all the way. All this going in 2 inches, even with a broken chain.
All right. Well, let's get at it. All right, we jumped on this. Cousin figured it all out, and that one right there from that center side over, we've moved. Yeah, do a Vanna White there, cuz. Yeah, get you on. There you go. So that side's done. We're happy about that. Cuz, show everybody and tell everybody what you found in there. Now, we got to look in the first cover we popped off down there. The chain was broke. You can see that cover off over there. And so he investigates.
It won't broke when I hit it.
Well, yeah, I touched it, so something got broke.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So anyhow, he found that broke chain and then investigated a little bit and found the, what do you call that thing? The planter disc wheel thingamabob?
Seed plate.
Okay, seed plate. There you go. The seed plate tore all to pieces and was all jammed up inside of it and wouldn't let it turn, so that's why it broke the chain.
We'll fix that too.
But anyhow,
I think I got extra. Go ahead.
so anyhow, the next part of the game plan here is working on this side over here to get these spaced out. I'll film one, let you see how easy this is working out. Okay.
It was just something to protect the hands, all I was trying to do.
Yeah, really? Yeah. Found that little impact wrench. Won't turn these bolts loose, but the big one will. Alright, so this one. Another washer. Oh, that's loose.
Usually when you do the front one, the back one's a little loose. I don't know. There you go, perfect. Got a drop.
So now,
8 inches.
last night, Cousin and I worked on this until just a little after 9 p.m. We were both tired. He'd had a long day at work. I'd had a right good day myself. But we accomplished something. We were out here in the dark trying to test this to see if we had solved an issue I have fought for the whole time I've been planting soybeans. I'm walking, see my feet, I'm walking down the rear tractor tire mark and setting these things out at 16 inches. We've solved the compaction problem that I've been fighting. Maybe the camera will show it. I'll try to get down here. Okay, that marking right there, that right there is where the seed's going to be. There's the tractor tire mark, and right over here is where the next line of seed is going to be. So we are just about 2 inches off of the compaction from the tractor tire mark, and over here about 2 inches off of it. Cousin was real happy about that. He figured all that out. What we got hung up on last night was the row markers. They didn't want to, and this still boggles my mind, they didn't want to lock up in the upright position. Like you see them both right now, they're both up. It's totally mind-blowing what was going on last night. The length of the chain is the length of the chain. It should be long enough to let the row marker come down, hit the ground, and mark the row, and then short enough to, when you lift it, to bring the row marker back up and lock it. And we got hung on that. So we just said, we'll figure it out, we'll come back to it. Now, I've been in a cigar shop all day, and there was one other issue to resolve, and the plan was to get back here today to figure it out. All right, that mark right there, yeah, right there, that's what the row marker did for me. And the way I want to set this up, the center of the cowling or the hood of the tractor is going to follow that mark on the return pass. But it's not right yet. It's off. This ground is way too rough. It's still got too much clods in it. I can see what I need to see. Like I just showed you, the first big excitement is I will no longer be planting in the tractor tire. There, right there. You can see I'm over here. There's the tractor tire, planting over here. I'm real excited about that. But the remaining issue, all right, let me see if I can find it. There it is, right over there. It's gonna be hard to see on camera, but here it is right here. All right, I'm standing in them. That planted row right there, way over, and that's your return pass. That means the row marker's set out too far. So I've got to shorten up the row marker. I want this space right here. In other words, over here I was headed that way. Over here I was headed back that way. Yeah, that way. I want that space in there to be the same 16 inches that you see here, 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 and here, and here, which you're probably not seeing good because, like I said, this ground's way rougher than what I would like to be planting in. So, I think I've got a good test mark here. Here, there's one more down there. I can measure this, figure out what it really is from center to center, and it looks like 20 inches just to the eye. Could be a little more than that. I want it to be 16. So I get to go play with the row marker. Here comes Cousin to help me figure it out. We'll get it there.